And what you will see in this video is basically the culmination of many weeks work of preparation and waiting for bike parts being shipped in, and measuring and inspecting old parts and figuring out what we can use and what we cannot. So I hope you will enjoy this video of this really cool bike build, and I'll put on some music and I'll talk about what I'm doing throughout the video, because there were some pretty interesting steps along the way. Okay, so the first thing I did was to actually measure that the new piston and the new cylinder fits together perfectly and is within specifications of the manual. So the best way, or the easiest way I should say, is to use a feeler gauge and to check that it's within spec with your instruction manual or the paper that comes with the piston. And then also check the piston rings are within specifications, which it actually was not. Interestingly, it was a bit too tight, the ring, so we would have to file off the end of the piston ring to get it within specifications. And you would rather want the gap to be a little bit too big than a little bit too small, so the engine doesn't seize up. And then I rebuilt the front suspension with new bushings and seals and new suspension oil, ready to go. And then I renovated my exhaust by running a wire brush wheel from my drilling machine and then painting it. And then I also painted the rear shock spring, after of course covering it well with painting tape and newspaper on all parts that I don't want to get painted. Okay, and that actually looks pretty good, as you can see here with the red spring. Looks brand new, or better than new I would say. And then after washing the frame, I polished the frame with an angle grinder and a Scotch-Brite wheel, which creates this really nice finish, super shiny, and again I think it looks better than new after you're done with this procedure. And I also did the same with the engine cases after washing them, and then of course you want to wash them again afterwards to make sure it's not full of aluminium powder and stuff inside. Wash them with soap and then spray every steel part or bearing with WD-40 or a similar product to make sure that nothing rusts after you washed the engine cases. So in case you never tried this procedure with the angle grinder and the Scotch-Brite wheel, it works really good. Of course you cannot get into all the tight places, so you would need a Dremel for that, but for me this is just fine. And I also did the swing arm, as you can see here, with the polishing procedure. And then the bikes are just drying out here. And now the next step is to renovate the reed valve. And you can simply just, if you have a cracked reed valve plate, you can simply just order a new one from Honda, from Japan, and then it will be good as new. You can see here the new one looks a lot better. And also this one, even though the other side was not cracked or damaged, we just replaced both sides of course, because they're quite cheap. And then you have basically a new reed valve ready to go, probably another 10 years I would hope. So it looks really good. I'm really happy with this result. And then the next step was to install the new transmission and crank bearings. And while I got the stove running, I decided, well, why not color some of these ugly old plastic parts that are white and then color them into black in this hot water with the Rid Dye product. It doesn't look too good now, but after about 1 or 2 hours simmering, they will look great. And then we got the new crank bearings here, which was actually the main reason the engine was starting to have problems. So it's gonna be very nice to get new bearings in there. After heating up the engine cases, they should slide straight in, but sometimes if you didn't heat them up enough, you can tap them in with a hammer without tapping too hard. You can also do like that with a chisel. Okay, and now we're assembling the engine with the transmission and the new crank and all the new transmission bearings and seals as well. And you just want to wiggle the crank in, or maybe tap it gently with a rubber hammer, and then check the transmission moves freely and works properly. Then torque down the bolts in a crisscross pattern. Well, that was a few preparation tips for how you prep your parts. And in the next episode, we're going to put all these parts together and do a full assembly of the bike. And that's gonna be epic. So make sure you subscribe for that. And thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas. If you want to learn more tools and techniques and habits that can improve your life quality and performance and well-being overall, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like tropical island holidays, visit fitcamp5.com for my 2-time TripAdvisor award-winning training camp, where we train fitness and action sports together while learning to live a healthy lifestyle and, maybe most importantly, have fun at the same time. And if you're really serious about improving yourself, you should definitely check out my full online courses, where I share step-by-step programs on how I developed my own routines over the last 12 years as a CEO working in 4 different countries, while being a successful competitive athlete with more than 20 years of experience in fitness and nutrition. Check the link in the description for that. And in any case, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, be awesome, believe in yourself, and see you on the next one.